I'm hoping a lot of people are waiting for this. I know we've been waiting to just unleash upon you what we think like Homelander unleashing at the end of the whole thing on the city with his hand just a rocking that son of a bitch. Wow. All right. Well, you guys know I don't do this alone, so I'm going to introduce the round table, which is actually a rectangular table, but you know what we mean. Travis Bowles is here. How you doing, Trav?
Wonderful.
Next, to him and across from me is Pete McCarthy. How are you today, Pete?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Steven.
Nice. And next to me, off to my left, is Vernetta Irby. How you doing, Vernetta?
I am just blessed to be here. Thank you for having me, Pete.
Blessed.
Pete, Travis, and Steve. Thank you.
Blessed. That's what I was going to say.
Yes. That you're blessed?
Yes.
Yes.
We're all blessed,
Yes.
very much so. All right. Well, if you listen to us for any amount of time, you know how this goes. Travis takes over the show and we do entertainment. It's one of the very few ways he contributes.
Maybe the only way.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm telling you right now, I'm excited to review The Boys because Vernetta brought the girls. You know what I'm saying?
I have not been so excited to talk about a show in all my life.
So let's talk about that a little bit from the standpoint of, Vernetta, you have been on our podcast numerous times.
Fan favorite. Boom, Vernetta, right here.
Yep.
Well, that's not a good representation.
Yeah, no, not at all.
So, but here's the thing that was funny is you never really reach out to me and go, I really want to be on the episode. It's sometimes I'll call you and go, hey, we'd like to have you come in, or we want you to host this, or, but this time you reached out to me and you were like, I want to come and talk about The Boys with you guys. Without going into spoilers, because we're not to that point yet, can you just kind of tell us why you were excited about talking about this season?
I think that out of all the series that I have watched, including Marvel, this is my favorite.
Wow.
That's a hell of a statement.
I know.
Wow.
I love it.
So over Marvel, you're going to say The Boys.
Yes.
Yeah. I totally get it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
Only because Marvel is so perfect with everyone, Everybody's so perfect. DC is even kind of dark, This is if a superhero fucking lived right next door to you. That dick that lives next door, you find out he has some superpowers. He's an asshole. He's not paying his rent on time. He got 3 or 4 different baby mamas and shit. This is that, and I love it because it's as close as everyday people as you can get. So,
oh yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, and that's kind of always been my favorite part of The Boys. Is it's hey, this is what it would look like if people actually had these powers. I mean, it would be diabolical.
If you could do whatever you wanted to do, you wouldn't put glasses on and head down to the Daily Planet and write news stories.
Thank you.
And save the world.
Thank you.
If you could do whatever you wanted, you would do whatever you wanted. And there is not a goddamn thing any one of you can do to stop me. And I love that premise.
Mm-hmm.
What's even better, and the show does a good job. Let's just say it now. From here on out, it's spoilers. This whole podcast, we are going to be spoiler filled. So if you have not watched The Boys 2 and you don't want it to be spoiled, do not listen to anything else. Okay? One of my favorite parts of this show and this story, and they don't talk about it a ton. We know it, we see it, but it's fun saying it's the people down the road or the person that your neighbor, or what if, but the part that I really love about it is this company goes to parents expecting their children and says, can we inject this drug into them? They could die horribly. They could live, but maybe have 2 heads. We haven't seen that, but as well as I do, things have happened that we never saw. Or they could have superpowers.
Or they could turn to stone and get gangbanged by trannies. That's an option. So did you catch the homage?
No.
When Lamplighter's watching the hero porn,
Mm-hmm.
it flashes to the screen and he's bent over in the circle. That famous panel from the comic. They paid homage to that character, even though they didn't put him in the show.
Oh, that's good.
I was like, nice.
That is so good. So what you're actually looking at too is you're not only looking at what happens if your neighbor is given these powers. You're looking at children who are raised by parents who in the beginning took money and said inject my kid with this drug.
And apparently not a lot of money, because it's not like these parents are living large.
They're not.
The ultimate Mr. and Mrs. Ramsey, am I right? And I don't mean Gordon. Real quick, want to welcome...
You laughing, Travis. Did you actually get the... Oh, okay.
You did, right? John Benet Ramsey, the little girl.
Little pageant girl.
Pageant girl.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's okay, bud. It's okay. Welcome all the YouTube watchers right now. You missed the intro. Of course, we wanted to be able to share that link. So we are reviewing The Boys Season 2. We didn't really do Season 1, so we're going to kind of recap both seasons, talk about the good stuff. Trav's leading it. Gonna be a shit show. The wonderful Vernetta's here with us. So now you guys are up to speed. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment. Producer Cody's on the other side of the screen. Clean the studio. It looks gorgeous. And also I'm watching comments as well. So if you got something you want to say, let us know. Spoiler filled, like Travis just said.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. I will also say from the beginning of this, I've read the book. Pete?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cover to cover.
And you too?
I have not.
No.
Okay.
Steven read a book. Does that count?
I haven't even read that much.
Before we even get
Of
into
this.
that, I will say that the story has differed from the book quite a bit. Now, is a lot of the same thing similar? For sure.
Right.
But it definitely has gone down a much different road. And I struggle right now with telling people to read the book because the fear I have is there is some huge spoilers in the book that change a lot of things about how you then go back and view characters. And I don't know if I want people to, and Steve and I just had this conversation. And Steve, what was your answer?
Yeah, I didn't really want to know. He was going to give me a spoiler. And I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to do that at this point.
And he didn't want to read.
Because no, he was just going to tell it to me.
Oh.
He was just going to say, if I told you something right now that would, that if the show follows this path, is going to be a huge spoiler for you, do you want to know it?
Will
no.
you text it to me so I know what you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Like right now? So I don't say it in the show and ruin it for him?
I would just not talk about anything the way the book ends.
Okay, we're talking about the ending of the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Because there are some things I want to talk about the book. Comparison-wise.
Yep. But not something that's going to spoil the seasons that these people are watching down the road.
I don't know. We're going to find out when I say it. So, well, hero or an asshole. You know what I mean?
I am drinking, so I won't remember it anyway.
Perfect. Okay. So, point of clarification, if I remember correctly in the books, the boys may do this. They had the drug to a certain extent.
And I think that's a great thing to talk about.
To fight the superheroes.
Yes.
And that was part of, and I'm wondering now that they've kind of officially been, I was surprised for it to have 2 seasons before they kind of became a more organized unit. I thought that was going to happen more quickly. And I wonder if there's going to be that compound V element of, hey, we've done the studies. We can give you a smidge, which will give you an edge in fighting them, but it won't have the negative aspects or as bad of negative aspects. Because I thought that was a cool part of the book. They kind of fought fire with fire.
I love that. Do you two sitting here now, do you foresee the boys taking V?
I thought that Butcher had kind of fucked around with it anyway. So just from things being said and how things are going, he's taken a lot of ass whoopings from a lot of people. I figured he had a little bit in his system anyway, like he's dabbled with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see it happening.
I never saw that coming because Butcher is almost fanatical about his hate for the Supes.
It has nothing to do with it. Look at our robot. How much did Will Smith hate the robots and you found out he had a robot fucking arm?
Well, that's a different show.
I've never seen that. You couldn't say spoiler alert?
I agree with you. I agree with you, Steven.
I know.
Butcher literally, he hates that kid.
Yeah, he hates that kid, and the
Yeah.
kid's innocent.
Yeah.
You know, with a hate
And
like
a good
that.
and a good
But
a good
is
kid.
the kid really innocent?
Right.
I mean, come on now.
Right.
Well,
So
He's
you know.
innocent.
I don't think he. Well, from the way that she talked, is like he hated kids anyway.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so
I
he
can
didn't
see
give
that.
a fuck whether he had compound V in him or not. I think he just hates kids.
Well, that and he hated that kid not because of the compound V. He
Right.
hated that kid because of what
What
it
he-
represented.
Right.
His failure to protect his wife, and that child was the result of that rape.
I think
That's
all of-
why he hates that.
I think
kid.
all of that is true, but he also hates that kid just because it's a soup.
That and the fact
Yes.
that he made the comment when she went back to him and asked him to help him find him, and he goes, "There's $1 billion kid. They're not gonna let us walk away with him." So he knew in the beginning, because at first she was like, "Well, I know you're not gonna want to take the kid." I'm like, he can't be that much of a dick. And then he comes back with being that much of a dick. But like he says, $1 billion kid. They're not gonna just let us take him. So he knew that if he left with him, they were gonna be looking for him, and he thought his life was hard already.
Right.
Shit was getting ready to get fucked up if they left with that kid.
How does Butcher feel about Starlight?
I fucking hate her.
No.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How does Butcher feel about
How
Starlight
does
now?
Butcher feel about Starlight? Now.
I think because he spent time with her, I think he's gaining some respect for her.
He still
So-
hates her.
I think he still hates her, but he sees similarities. They've talked about the similarities between the two of them and whatnot, and I do think that you can enjoy spending time around somebody you hate. I mean, I do it every Sunday.
Right. And he's talking about the Lord at church, which is an awful thing to say.
But fitting when we're talking about the boys.
Right.
No.
The relationship between him and Starlight, I still think that hate's there. It's Huey, like that conversation they had at his bedside. That's what I don't know what the whole relationship with Huey, and he talks about him being his canary. And I explained that to Amanda because she didn't catch that reference
yeah,
as to
the
what
whole
that meant.
cave
you
thing
know?
in the gas or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah, basically in the coal mine, if
Yeah.
the canary died, it was time to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Kind of keeping him there, and he's like, okay, well, I think he realizes he needs Huey, and he realizes that Huey needs Starlight. So if so facto, he also needs Starlight, and he's gonna tolerate it because,
See,
she threw
I
him
read
a
that
bone and
differently.
helped.
Can I say this?
You can say whatever you want.
I hate Huey too, so I'm just putting that out there.
Huey's a villain, but Huey.
Huey's a whiny bitch.
Oh my God, kill them both.
but he's supposed to be. I mean, he kills this character. I mean, he's a whiny bitch.
I read that bedside scene as them two are coming to terms with. It's like, hey, it's like me and you. Me and you might not be friends, but if Travis is laying in the hospital bed, I realize that I need that son of a bitch, and I realize how much you need that son of a bitch, so we have something in common.
Right. The only reason that I took a picture with Justice Curry was because you were almost dead in a hospital bed. You guys remember that photo of us? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It took you almost dying to get me in the same room with him without choking him. So make sure you follow Justice Curry on YouTube.
I'm pretty sure he'd have charged you for that choking too.
Len LaGuardia just said Pete is right.
About?
I'm assuming about the Starlight.
Oh, okay.
The
Okay.
triangle there. So.
Okay.
It
I
must be a
appreciate
delay.
you, Len.
Must
Hey,
be a
make sure
delay.
if you like Mythic Legions, you
I don't
check
think
out
he's heard
Wolf
what I
King
said yet.
Customs. I'm trying to plug one of our friends' companies.
I
Can
don't
you
care.
shut
I'm
up?
trying to step on you.
You're not stepping on me. You're stepping on Len. Don't let your blind hate for me ruin another potential friendship. I'm going to be in this guy's driveway in a couple of weeks, FaceTiming him.
Sure.
So,
Boys has been a very fun road that I think we've all enjoyed.
he said everything. He specified.
Oh, you're worried about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I will definitely say Pete is not right about everything, and the fact that he's read the book and still believes some of the things he says makes me wonder about his comprehension skills. So,
What you got there,
are
buddy?
you saying I can't comprehend something, or?
No, I didn't say anything at all. I'm just eating my M&Ms.
So the show has been a ton of fun. It's getting obviously good reviews. The people who aren't gonna like this show aren't watching it, right?
Right.
I mean, for the most part, if you pull this show up and you have any kind, you're not gonna. Has your wife watched it?
My wife absolutely loves it.
Okay.
So I said to her, hey, there's this show. I want to watch it. Do you want to try it with me? Watched the first episode, absolutely loved it. I was like, let's keep watching it. Yeah,
I
we'll
guess.
keep watching it, you know. So we watched it, and she actually was way more excited about it than I was originally. So it just took us a little bit longer than we had hoped to be able to get together. Because let's be honest, it's not a show that you were watching if Piper's going to walk into the room.
No,
or
you don't
something
watch
like
with the
that.
kids around.
Yeah, you know. So,
I wouldn't doubt Piper be on that show one day.
Yeah,
She was the baby that was shooting the lasers at her.
yeah, and then she grew up to be the Nazi Stormfront.
Yeah.
So Vernetta's always like, I can't believe she doesn't like me. Well, we all know why. So
Heidi loves the show. Steve, is Courtney watching it with you?
Courtney is seeing some of it through osmosis.
She walks through the room. You're watching it.
Yeah, and she tries to ignore it, and then when something happens that's really fucked up, she'll look at the TV, and then she'll get mad at me.
When she gets mad at you, how does that go?
Why the hell do you watch this stuff? What is wrong with you? What? How do you find joy in this stuff? And I'm like, me and like a bazillion other people that are watching it. The world's messed up. The world's messed up.
true.
Yes.
Agreed.
Every time somebody, I always have that Nicolas Cage moment. You know, what's wrong with it? My first guess is a lot.
Renetta, your significant other?
I have let all of my toys watch this show
They watch it with you?
simultaneously.
Do you set them up on the bed?
Yes, yes. I line them all up around me like I'm on Gulliver's Travels. With all these little things lined up around me, and we all watch The Boys together.
They all go where plenty of people have gone before.
Yeah. That is a clear path.
It's not.
So before we get into some of the things about the episode, I just really quick, I want to get everyone's favorite character, and we'll start with Vernetta. I'll go Pete, and then we'll end with Steve. And I just want to know. Go ahead.
Can we do this real quick?
Yeah.
Can we do favorite boy and then favorite soup? Because it's hard to pick one altogether. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Vernetta. So favorite boy and then favorite soup.
I love Mother's Milk.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love Mother's Milk. He is awesome. I love,
Good looking dude.
but I liked him in other stuff too. But
Okay.
I love his character.
Has he
I
been
do.
in other stuff? Because I know Carl Urban hasn't, based on our Facebook conversation the other day.
Carl Urban's been in a few things. Yes. Mother's Milk. I can't say that I've seen that actor in something else.
Oh, okay.
What?
I've seen him in a few things.
What?
If I told you, you wouldn't know. One of my favorite movies is called Jumping the Broom, and he's in that. He's the main character, and I love it.
Jumping the Broom.
Yeah.
Who's Mother's Milk?
I know,
M&M.
right?
Eminem.
The black guy that always has the kick-ass
fast
t-shirts
guy?
on.
The who?
No. From the boys.
Oh, the boys. Oh,
You fucking
okay.
with me.
Yeah, no,
You
I
fucking
was
with me,
just
Steve.
I was thinking soups for some
I
reason.
am so sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry.
His name isn't Mother's Milk in the show, is
That's
it?
what MM stands for,
What the
bitch.
fuck is his
Mother's
name?
Milk. MM.
They don't call him that, do they?
Bitch always calls him MM. They all call him
I
MM.
thought his name was Max Millionaire or
No,
something.
his
I don't
name is
know.
what, Marvin Milk? Is that his name? Was it Marvin? But they call him Mother's Milk? But his last name was...
I don't know his name.
See, this is why you got to read the book.
I didn't fucking read the book.
I'm telling you, this is what I'm saying. If I'm hoping, I want these people to find out why they call him Mother's Milk.
I just love that Steve. He goes
Wait,
to the
which
only,
character?
He goes the only black guy on the show. The other one he can think of.
Yeah.
Well, they all look the same. So.
Oh, one can run fast.
No, you know the guy, the white guy, you're talking about Homelander. No, the one with the cape. No, yeah, Homelander. No, it's got an American flag cape. That you know what I'm talking about? You mean Homelander? No, he's kind of like Superman but bad. You mean Homelander? No, he's got. You know
Come on,
what I'm talking about?
I didn't know Frenchie's name last time I went either.
It's Frenchie.
I know that now because you guys told me, but I didn't know that was his name. I was like, the guy with the accent.
Yeah. The funny thing is as a reader of the comic, Eminem is he's huge.
I remember you telling me that. I said I wanted to look it up.
He's a monster in the book. Like literally, the boys are walking down, and he's the giant in the group. You know.
And
Head
he's
and
bulked up
shoulders
for this
above him.
role
Oh, I'm
because
sure.
normally he is bulked up a lot for this role. And it took me a second to recognize him with his size and the beard and
Yeah.
everything. But I like the way his character is written.
He's a big guy in this.
No.
He plays off as a big guy.
And that's the thing. I don't think he is a tall dude.
No, I don't think he plays off as tall. He plays off as built.
I
like
think
Bane. Bane's not a big guy, but they portrayed him as being big, or he played
that
himself
actor,
as
Hardy,
big.
Yeah.
not Hardy.
But in
Yeah,
the,
that was
right,
Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
What?
in the book, he is portrayed as a giant among men.
Yeah,
But
like
you can
6'6".
do that when you're drawing.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
But, so
look
what-
at Homelander versus the book versus this.
Oh, true. But what I feel like is that dude is such a good actor, and obviously it's written well too. He comes off as like
Well, he's got that presence. When he walks into the room, he's got that big guy
He's
kind of.
intimidating. And
Well,
he,
the
swagger.
episode where he
swagger.
Butcher
yes.
wants to go outside the house to see Black Noir, and Huey's like, I'm not letting you. And he starts to walk towards him, and Eminem walks in and goes, you going to go through me too?
And
Butcher's
Butcher
like,
just stops. He's like, nah, I ain't fucking with him.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
I love his character, and I think that we'll continue to get to see him kind of grow and that aspect of it.
Is anybody else completely like in love with his t-shirt selection? Every time you see him, he's got a cool kick-ass t-shirt. Whether it's an old school Run DMC or a Brooklyn Dodgers jersey, it's always something cool. You know, it's always pop culture, and I just love that about that character.
Never noticed a single t-shirt he wore.
I didn't either. That's so weird to me that and you guys just spent
And they always seem to be black.
his t-shirts. You guys spent a lot of time talking about that scene where they're sitting around the hospital bed. Like, I barely remember that.
It's because it had sentimental value and feeling. You were like, when's the depraved sexual stuff?
Less emotion.
When is he going to burn a hole in her thigh and fuck it? That's what I want to say.
Peter, come on, Peter. So let's do this.
It was your thought. I just said it out loud.
We're gonna go through the boys part of it, and then we'll come back for the hero part. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna say easily Butcher. I absolutely love Carl Urban, and that character. Something about that he has that little bit of him where you're like he's gonna do the right thing, but then most of the time, he's not. I just love him. I love how I've always loved Carl Urban. I thought he's one of those actors that even in like Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
He's the little parts he was in, he stole the show.
There's something about him. I remember him from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Loved him in that.
And there was something about when he comes on screen, you want to stare at him.
Yeah. He's a good-looking dude. I mean, that's a huge part of it, but he's also just a great actor. And when they said he was going to play Butcher, while I didn't, because the last thing I really think I saw him doing was like Bones from Star Trek.
Which he nailed.
He nailed that too.
Gosh,
and I'm,
he was good.
he's a skinny doctor, and I'm like, I'm like, that dude can do it. Because he played Dredd, and Dredd, they never took his helmet off. It was this, and he was, and a lot of people didn't see that movie, but it was freaking great. And I'm like, oh yeah, he can be Butcher.
That's the thing. Like you mentioned, Bones. The real Bones was a skinny ass old guy with a southern accent. And you see Carl Urban. Carl Urban's a much bigger guy than DeForest Kelley was, but he nailed the mannerisms. He nailed the voice. He nailed the everything about that character so much you didn't care what he looked like.
Yeah.
He's like, that's Bones.
It's him.
It's him.
It's him.
What is when he talks normally? What does he sound like?
No one knows.
I have no idea.
Because every character he does is different.
Yeah.
I kept meaning to like Google or YouTube an interview with him because I want to hear what he sounds like.
I have heard what he sounds like, but I
He
can't.
doesn't have that natural. That's not his natural accent.
I think he's American, isn't he?
No, I think
I
he's
don't
American.
think he's American.
You don't think so?
Look it up. We're gonna have to look it up.
Okay, I can go to the Google.
If you
You
would,
go-
I'm
I'll go to the
up on the
Googler.
YouTube here.
I'm not going.
Huh?
Oh,
he's-
yeah. Producer Cody.
Producer Cody,
gonna go
look
to
at
the
that.
Googler.
Producer Cody.
Praise White Jesus 13 just said, I can't believe Vernetta would subject herself to being in a room with all three of you at once.
Not the first time.
And the last.
This time we just have a camera.
Yeah. So who's your favorite boy, Peter?
Frenchie.
Frenchie.
Yeah.
Really?
I
There's
love Frenchie, too.
There's something about that character, man. I just, you get this guy, you see the, you obviously you find out that as the character was fleshed out, he was never a throwaway character, but when you really got that backstory, when you got the guilt of the the way Lamplighter took out those kids and how when they fleshed all that out, and it was like it just solidified. I'm like, I love this guy. And then you saw why he was trying to save Kamiko, and you saw you went again back to the overdose, and then only to have that guy then die later. So it was really all for naught anyways. And he was carrying all that around, and then he can make explosives, and he's just I just love the character.
And he loves cocaine.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's brought it to life for me, and I've really enjoyed him on screen.
He's my number 2.
I did not like Frenchie. Like, he was a throwaway character for me for most of this until we got that backstory.
Yeah. Yep.
Then I liked him more. I still would not say he's my favorite, but he was completely, like I said, I didn't even know his name.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't know Eminem's name. I thought he was a white rapper. But, no,
You think Eminem's white?
I thought he was, isn't he? What is he?
Have you listened to his music?
Yeah, a long time ago, back when I was young and, really adventurous.
Really adventurous to Steven is urinating in a public restroom and not washing his hands. Like, that's as adventurous as Steve gets.
No, so, but were you done?
Yeah, yep, I had that. That's what I had.
Okay. So, it's Butcher. I mean, I don't know how it can't be Butcher for everybody. I mean, anyone that could say the word cunt, like he says cunt, he's got a gift.
I hate that word.
I love it when he says
And they
it.
say it
But
so
he-
much in
but
the
he-
fucking show.
But he crushes it.
Or
I mean,
twat.
that's,
When he says twat, love it.
Hey, where did we land on his accent? Where's he from? Did you Google it?
No,
Cody's
said-
gonna do it.
Okay. Oh, you texted me?
Yeah.
All right.
Cody's like, I'm not just yelling from the other room.
He should.
He yelled at
Cody
that
cares about sound quality. He's I like this.
Yeah.
He's from New Zealand, which accents sound Australian, so that's his
shit. Yeah,
natural
that
voice.
is it.
I told you he's American.
Yeah.
So, Renata, who is your favorite hero?
Travis doesn't even know where
I'm sorry,
America
not
is.
hero. I guess
Soup?
Soup, yeah.
When I say this, you guys might throw me out of the room,
Oh, no.
but
This is his favorite soup.
yes,
Yes.
Okay. She's like, matzo ball. It's the Jewish penicillin.
the deep,
The deep.
the deep.
I love the deep.
The deep is the douchiest douche that ever
I
douched.
know. So let me tell you,
You just like his arms. Dude's got some arms.
I haven't paid him any attention.
He's a good looking dude.
I haven't paid.
You just wanna
he's not
tongue
that
lash
good-
those gills.
He's not that good looking to me either.
Oh, he's got that cut right there where the deltoid meets the side, and it looks just amazing. It's like, man,
really?
You ever noticed that?
I haven't noticed.
He doesn't notice the
gosh.
guys' names. He doesn't notice the T-shirts. He doesn't notice the color of their skin.
Yeah.
But man, if they got muscle definition, he's Homelander and all over the place, man.
And it's real. It ain't a freaking suit like the guy who plays Homelander.
So I don't know. In the beginning, in the season 1, watching him, I'm like, he is a d-bag, from jump
course
with
he is.
Starlight and him jacking off and making her give him a blowjob or whatever, and and then once he joins that church, I'm all in with him. All in. When he was like, when they got mad because they put A-Train back in, he's like, fuck Fresca. And he's talking about, the sacrifice he made being married to this woman, giving terrible blowjobs.
That was a great scene. That was a great scene.
I fucking loved it.
Yes.
Even when Patton Oswalt was singing as his gills, he sucked me right in. I'm sorry, he did.
He's also a good actor.
He was better as a rapist than he
looked-
was as the church person.
He looks so dumbfounded all the fucking time. I absolutely love his character.
When he's standing on that whale.
Yes! And they go right through it. He's out there crying and shit.
I tried to warn her. But the range of emotion in his character, you're like, this guy is a simple moron.
He
That
is.
Vought put into this role that he couldn't handle. He has no idea what to do with himself.
No.
He truly was lost, not being able to follow Homelander.
When they
Not-
gave him that fish, he's like, he knows my name. I'm like, this guy is a fucking idiot. And I love him. I do. Except for when that girl was sticking her hands in his gills in the first season. That gave me the heebie-jeebies. And I know it's not real, but it still creeped me the fuck out.
Is the Fresca thing from the book?
No, I don't remember that.
I don't know
So
what
we'll
is
see.
going on with
Fresca
Fresca.
sucks.
We'll
but,
see.
But when he was like, fuck Fresca, I was in love.
I think
In
that
love.
that character has so much room for an arc. that, you know, he could end up being one of the cooler guys in the end. I'm not saying it's going that way, and I don't know if it goes that way. He might be dead in the next episode. I have no idea. But I think there's definitely a potential there that by the end he finds some humanity and could be actually.
He's gonna be the one to save the day.
He could be. I mean, I think it's you know, that would be some cool writing. Who knows?
I will tell you that I actually love all of the soups. I feel like they have done such a good job with them that I really enjoy all of them. And this is a real tough one for me because there's one guy that what the emotion he inspires when he's on the screen is amazing to me. But I'm going to tell you my favorite soup of season 2 easily is Stormfront.
Why'd you keep saying he? And then bust out with
He's
Stormfront.
just that dumb. It's
Well,
not his fault.
Because he was me talking about someone else. I said, I want to say this person, but Stormfront.
If you had said female, there was still Starlight, Queen Maeve, and
no, he's talking about he wants to say Homelander because of the emotion Homelander evokes out of him.
Oh, okay.
But he has to go with Stormfront.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You just
Gotcha.
gotta
I
speak, you just
misunderstood.
gotta speak Trav. That's
I
all.
misunderstood. Okay.
Yeah.
I what she did as far as being such an evil bitch
Twat.
was so well done. And then to have this whole angle that she's really part of the Nazi, I mean, we're talking like Hitler's.
Like legit
I
Nazi.
still have a
inner
lot
circle.
of questions about her. It's so much I don't understand.
and we'll never get those answers.
I want to know where the fuck she been.
She was such an evil bee. And I love when shows or books or movies give you a bad guy that you hate so much. And she had 0 redeeming qualities. I mean, 0 in my
Even-
opinion.
No,
There
well,
was-
she was
there
good
was a-
with kids.
Even Homelander was looking at her like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" When she was talking to the little boy, he was like, "The fuck is going on with this woman?"
Eh, he thought a minute. He was like, kids seems to like it though.
Like,
They
you know,
did.
something ain't right here.
They did say, you know, hey, this used to be Lady Liberty or
Yes.
Miss Liberty or whatever.
Yes.
And then they said they've been bouncing her around in all these small venues. It sounded like what they did with her was they put her out to pasture like they did the Deep. So she was one of the little hometown ones across the small towns in the U.S., constantly kind of changing names and personas, and then for whatever reason, then came back as
Well,
Stormfront.
for whatever reason,
So-
she had a good handle on social media, and she made herself popular.
She
again.
made them
Right.
take her in, just
Yes.
like our wrestling boy,
MJF.
MJF,
Yeah.
man. She was so good. He's the AEW wrestler that what he's doing with his online persona is making it so they
Can't be
have
ignored.
they have to push him as the bad guy because he's such a good bad guy. And she was
Is he the
so
one flipping
good.
off little kids?
Yeah, he's the one
okay.
flipping off little kids. And so
You'd have to catch a boot to the face. You sure? You flip off my baby. I'm sorry.
So I just felt like she was so, and obviously powerful. I mean,
Yeah, they jacked her up.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
she was not like the other. I mean, don't get me wrong. The other 7 are powerful, but none of them can touch Homelander. I mean, they can't even.
Well, he's Superman.
Yeah, they can't hang with him.
Right.
Yep, and she was also at that, like alpha omega level where it was pretty cool. And I just, like I said, I love it when there's a bad guy that I can hate and just wish evil things on.
Yeah.
And she was that, So she did a great job.
I hated her from the start.
Yeah.
Did you?
Oh yes,
I was totally intrigued by her from the beginning, and it was just like so many different things. Like, why the fuck would they let her in here? She comes out and speaks bad about Vault all the fucking time, and basically talks bad about them and sitting there flipping them off, basically. Then shoots off into the sky, and I'm like, how they keep paying this bitch?
Yeah.
How you keep this bitch on payroll if she out here talking?
She
bad
wasn't
about you?
hot. She didn't have a skimpy costume. I hated the shaved head on the side.
She
I thought
wasn't
that looked
hot?
stupid.
You didn't think she was hot?
No, there's something about her, and then she's all whining about skimpy costumes, and I was just like, shut up. And then she influences Homelander poorly, and we'll get there.
I'm sorry, my eyebrows started touching for a second. Let me straighten my face back
He's,
up because you had me confused.
So Cornboy jumps in on the YouTube here, And he says Pete equals Homelander, Steve equals Starlight, and Travis equals the Deep season 1. So this is where I originally went. He was saying that of the group, I'm the Homelander, you're the Starlight, you're the perverted Deep. But what I think he was actually trying to say was Pete's favorite's going to be Homelander, yours is going to be the Deep season 1, and yours is going to be Starlight. So I'm sure when he hears this, I'm sure he'll weigh in and correct us here shortly. But yeah,
What's your favorite suit, Peter?
You know, that one, that truly is a tough one. I'm totally kind of traving this one. To me, you don't have anything without Homelander. He kind of ties it together, and at the end, he's got to be my favorite because I love to hate him. He's my Negan. He's my he's that villain. That fucking Steve's gearing up for it, and it's already irritating me. Like I'm already pissed off. Well,
so you like skirting on the line when you say he's my Negan?
What? I said Negan like The Walking Dead.
You know how to watch The Walking Dead.
No, if I would have said that, I would have said something different.
With
Because Andre and I would have called him my ginger. That's my secret code. So, but Homelander's he's the ultimate evil. He's the ultimate bad guy. He's the one that nobody can stop. I mean, he's got to be blackmailed to shut up. And the way the actor who doesn't even look like Homelander when you look at his pictures, I think he just crushes it. So
that dude can walk down the street and no one would even know he's Homelander.
He says that in an interview.
Really?
He says, I don't have the blonde hair and I don't have the pads and stuff. He says, and he wears glasses.
Yeah.
He wears glasses.
So he is like Superman.
Yep.
Fuck.
Yeah, he's
you said
Homelander and Clark Kent. So, yeah. So like I said, it's gotta be Homelander for me. As of right now, the Deep. I can't fucking stand the Deep. So Starlight to me is just a whiny bitch.
She's a waste.
She
is a waste of super flesh.
I really liked Lamplighter's story. I thought that was really cool.
I thought it was so cool that it's Iceman.
Right.
And they,
that's awesome.
That's cool.
They give him
a fire theme, or give him that character that has a fire theme, I should say.
Queen Maeve to me.
I like Queen Maeve.
That felt a little forced.
What do you mean?
What?
What felt forced?
The threesome.
No, the
character. Go ahead.
I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because I know what Steven wants to get to. I felt like the lesbian thing was a little bit forced with her character.
Well, it is because she's bisexual.
Well, right, but it was one of those things where I kind of
really
at first it kind of felt I don't know, it kind of felt like it didn't belong to me for some reason. Now the way they played out the whole storyline, I thought it went absolutely great.
Is that a comic storyline?
Something along those lines, yeah.
I can't recall.
But when I said the bisexual thing, that was her girlfriend saying when they were trying to push that whole agenda on her girlfriend's like, she's bisexual.
Right.
Saying
because
that
of the Homelander relationship.
Yeah.
But as they fleshed it out, I thought they did a great job with that storyline. And basically, she's, well, why would she do this on this plane with Homelander? Well, because she's in love with somebody that she was worried about. She's doing this to protect her loved ones. So I kind of initially was like, oh, here we go again. And then I'm like, no, this is really cool. The way they did this story, I thought was awesome. So, like I said, it was one of those weird, my knee-jerk reaction was, oh, well, of course, we got to have a lesbian because that's how we do things.
That's exactly what Bot was doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like I said, but the way they played it out, I thought was really, really cool.
They were so excited about that whole thing.
Right. And she ended up having some, like I said, some very cool redeeming qualities, and she ended up being, I like to see her kind of step back away from and go, hey, okay, I do need to be the hero. I do need to do the right thing. And I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Plus, I like her outfit.
I thought she got played down a little bit too much.
I would
they kept her so far in the background with stuff. She wasn't really involved in everything. But when push came to shove and Stormfront turns around and Queen Maeve is standing there, just lays a haymaker on her. It was amazing. I'm like, okay, you're stepping up. You got your 5 minutes of fame.
You don't get to see her stretch her superhero powers very often.
That's what I'm talking about right there. They had her in the background.
It's interesting because I recently went back to the very first episode, and one of the very first episodes is her stopping that, and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, but it's been so long since we've seen her doing some cool stuff.
Oh, she's jacked.
Right.
That you just don't. You forget about it, kind of.
Yeah.
Speaking real quickly of that scene, did we know, and I just forget, that Kimiko had healing ability?
Yes.
I'd never seen it.
I forgot.
Not like that.
I was devastated.
You thought she was dead, didn't you? I did too.
Amanda and I both were like, oh my God,
But I
are you
must have
kidding
seen
me?
it before because as soon as she died, I was like, something in my brain go.
Yeah, she
Did
can't.
she heal?
She
Yeah, then
clicked
she
her
did.
head, and I went, oh yeah, okay.
When she fought Nor in the in season 1, she used that ability. She healed from a pretty she should have been dead in season 1.
Yeah, but it took her a minute though. It wasn't like this though, but it might have been because it was like flesh rooms instead of like bones or whatever, and it might have been a little bit different. But yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Praise White Jesus 13 says, wait, did Steven enjoy women doing stuff?
Yeah,
Each
I enjoy
other.
women doing stuff all the time.
Like the dishes,
The laundry.
Yeah.
Why does it make sense?
sewing.
Especially superheroes. That's a trump.
Yeah.
You can't once you got superpowers involved in the
It
stuff.
changes things.
Yeah.
You love Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I
You
do.
love her. Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
Which I can see why you'd love Queen Maeve. I mean, she's totally modeled after a Wonder Woman like character.
Yeah, I think she's cool looking.
Can I ask you guys this? And Vernetta, you might be the one to weigh in on this. Is she wearing a wig? Her hair looks
Queen
really.
Maeve?
Her hair looks fake
Most
to me.
actresses in movies have on wigs. I'm pretty sure Starlight, that's not all of her hair either.
There was an episode where she took her hair off.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
She
so
has
yeah.
extensions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I asked
So-
Amanda that same question because Amanda was like, God, her hair is so beautiful. And I'm like, is it real? She's, hell no, that ain't real.
All right, Steven. Who is your favorite soup?
Oh well, the heroes, Homelander. I mean, Homelander is that guy that when every time he pops on the screen, that actor has a magnetic way about him, and you just want to watch him. He does that to me where, when things are happening, I study his face so intently because he gives you such cues with his acting. He kind of does these kind of little head kind of, and you can see the gears turning in there all the time, and it's cool because it puts you in a position as a viewer to say, I wonder what he's thinking.
It's funny because when I was talking about him, I was talking about how he inspires emotion every time he's on the screen.
Exactly.
Yes.
I just said it better.
You must have because nobody understood me. But I guess what I'm saying is the emotion that he inspires in me is fear.
The emotion he inspires in non-chauvinistic assholes is fear. You're right. You're in the majority.
Fear. Well, I'm fear that he might fail. Yeah. I mean, when he got wrapped up with Stormfront, that was dangerous because she's a bad influence on him.
Very
You're
bad.
right, because up until that point, he was just a fucking Cub Scout.
Wait.
You're right.
Let me
he's-
say something that might shock the shit out of y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of agree with Steve on that with Stormfront.
Oh yeah, she messed him up.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah. I agree on that.
He was sitting on the edge with his feet swinging already, and she just came and pushed him right over.
You're right, because up until Stormfront, he wasn't doing anything weird
No.
like, hey, doppelganger, lay here and let me breastfeed off
Hold
of
on,
you,
wait,
or I'll
wait.
burn your fucking
I can
face
relate
off.
to that.
No, wait. No,
Here's the deal. Don't
no.
try that. Amanda did not think that was sexy at all.
So
I was like, oh, yeah. She's like, don't you fucking dare.
no, I think that he is a sick person. He was
Yeah.
already on some fucked up shit already.
Yeah.
And I think what little bit of restraint he had, she came and just like knocked that barrier off. Like, don't get me wrong, he's fucked up. But she comes along and he just like, okay,
I think he's
like
an
he
inspiration.
lost all sense of his the little bit of conscience that he had.
He still to a certain extent, I think, was chained by the way he was raised with Vought.
Yeah.
And she cut the collar.
I don't.
I get that.
Okay,
Yeah.
time out. What did he do bad after her?
What do you mean?
What did he do bad after her? Besides the one mugger they caught, and
I fucking loved it.
Squeezed his head. What did he do bad after her?
And then banged on his fucking dead
yeah.
body.
But besides,
he was doing everything. She was playing the puppet strings.
No, I agree on that standpoint. But what did he do bad after her?
Because I think before I don't think that he would have ever took that little boy from his mom before. I know he wanted to be in his life, but I don't think he would have taken him. I think he knew that little boy was supposed to be home and that he needs to come there and try to turn him into a superhero, but I don't think he would have taken him.
He had delusions of a family there for a little bit, and she did that to him, and and I do believe that. We're like, he's so broken. That's why he's an inspiration. His life has been so horrible, raised in
I agree.
And everything else. He doesn't have a chance to be a good guy, and yet you still see the good guy there when you watch him.
Where?
You should go adopt a kid from foster care.
I should.
Yeah, you should.
I don't want any of that.
But no,
That sounds horrible.
but they have so much good in them. They're just from a broken home. Just go get a foster kid.
Where did you see the good at, Steve?
I mean, for instance, the plane sequence from season 1. I mean, he's a leader. He's like a war general. We all go home or no one goes home. If I can't save all of you, we're all going down together. That's a leader.
But he didn't go down with the plane, Steve.
No.
He can't. He's invincible. What's he supposed to do?
Terrible.
You're right.
What's he supposed to do?
If he stays on the
He
plane.
could have went down with the plane. He'd have been fine. I think if he'd have had that decision, if he'd had that choice, I think he would have made it. We're all in this together. That's a good thing. We're all in this together. And he's not going to play God and pick who lives and dies. He's a God-fearing man. I mean,
he didn't save everybody because of the conversation that they had. And he goes, "We can't leave any witnesses because somebody would have told."
Okay, there's always a political angle. There's always a political angle, but I'm not
Why
sure
is
that.
he yelling?
I'm sorry, because
He gets emotional.
I get a little emotional. Sorry.
JLY9 says Steven studied that last scene with Homelander, and then it's the emoticon with the holy shit eyes. Praise White Jesus 13 says guaranteed Steven has asked his wife if he could stand on the roof and jerk off. And then he follows it up with Travis just does it, probably in uniform, with his mics keyed up so everybody can hear.
So my question with that scene is, who did that fall on?
Everybody.
Like that bird shit? No,
you know what? I bet he couldn't get off.
probably not.
I bet he couldn't finish.
So, speaking of Homelander, I am so sorry, Steve, but my favorite scene with Homelander was with Doppelganger. When Doppelganger goes, "Now you can look into your own eyes when you come." I was like, "Bloop, let me pause this and go back." What this motherfucker say? And I'm like, who writes this shit?
Steven was like, I've been doing that for years.
I get that. I mean, when you're the best, he's the best. I've never been that best, but if I was, I mean, what else is gonna?
You're saying
what else is better?
20-year-old
Here's the
Steve?
deal. Here's the deal, though, Steve. Homelander is built where he could have looked in Doppelganger's eyes. You couldn't have seen Doppelganger's face.
No, not
You were
anymore.
coming anyway.
No. That's why I said I'm not like Homelander. I wish I was that kind of a role model, but I'm not. And anyways, he's the best, and I think that season 3 we're gonna really see him step it up and take care of the 7 and clean up crime, which is what he really wants to do. He really just wants everything to. If people would just listen to him and cooperate, I think we'd be okay. But
I can't wait till Steve sees Herogasm.
I want to know about him and his son because they both seem on the spectrum. Like, is his son autistic?
Well, no, he's homeschooled.
I think it's
He's just sheltered. I think he's just sheltered.
He's homeschooled.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I could agree with Steve on this one. He hasn't had any social
Which
interaction.
one is Steve's mic so I can unplug that motherfucker?
Yellow. Because he's a coward. It's yellow like his belly.
But I didn't know if he seems kind of, but it was like the whole noise thing, but that could be because he has super hearing, so he hears everything around him all the time. And it could be he's sheltered, but they both seem kind of on the spectrum.
It's
Well,
that he
and
wakes up
Homelander
every
was-
day with his mommy, and she cooks him a little
Not
quiet
every
breakfast.
day. He went somewhere because it was one point that he wasn't at home or something.
You went
he
to the piano lessons.
Well, shit, he gets out the house.
No kid's gonna say piano lessons is getting out of the house.
When that's all you know.
True. Yeah, that's true, I guess. I think it's more of like Homelander was raised the same way. He was raised by scientists. Don't get me wrong. He wasn't raised because this boy was raised
By someone who loves him.
by someone. This kid was raised by scientists who were terrified of him.
Right.
You know, what chance did Homelander? What chance did he really have?
He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Dark Bulb says that was insane, and I'm assuming he's referring to Steven's
Opinion.
genuine
mean,
love
look
of
at-
Homelander. So
He wants to be a good dad. You can see it.
He does.
Yeah.
He
He just
does.
doesn't know. He doesn't have the tools to do it.
But what I think that's based on is Homelander is very driven by people liking him.
Yeah.
He wants to be liked, so I believe that he wants to be a good dad. He wants that kid to like him.
and I honestly think there's a control aspect too. I think he, to have that happen, and this is my son, and it's, I'm going to control this like I can control everything else.
You know, let's talk about the real bad guy. Let's talk about Vought. Okay? You raise Homelander to be this. Okay? You scientists, whatever they did, testing on him, all these things. You do that. Now, Homelander has a kid. And you're like, okay, we're not really happy with how Homelander turned out. So let's try this. Let's take this kid and his mom and put him in a fake town with walls and guards, and let's try and raise him this way because he's the future. So let's go that route. And you look at all these things that Vought's done and knows about. Like, they know A-Train killed his girlfriend. They know all that stuff. They're just like, yeah, sweep that shit right under the rug. Make that money.
Well,
He's
the good
the
of the many
worst.
outweighs the good of the few. I mean,
A-Train is the worst.
He is the worst.
There's, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm like, man, Homelander's fucked up. A-Train's worse. A-Train is just a class A piece of shit.
My favorite scene with A-Train is him visiting that little boy in the hospital on the first season. When he goes, well, maybe next week, and the doctor's like, doctor shaking his head. He's like,
And this is me. I know I'm an apologist sometimes. A-Train has made reference to born super poor.
He just used that word correctly. My head almost exploded like the finale. So,
Born super poor, okay? You then get this ability. You get to rise above being super poor. And now he will do everything to make sure he never goes back to that life.
right.
It does not make anything he's done okay.
Right.
But
you understand it.
because that's what this show does. That's what it does. Like, listen,
humanizes things.
we love Butcher.
Dark Bulb says, yes, Steven is insane. So, I was correct in that.
I don't know what he means.
We love Butcher. Butcher is an asshole.
Right.
Yeah.
He's an asshole.
And a cold-blooded killer.
Yes.
I mean, he kills people.
And he knows it.
He wanted to kill his
dad.
Yuriko's. He wanted to kill it. He would have killed his dad.
I wanted to kill his dad.
Oh,
That
Dad
guy
is
was
a
a piece of shit. He's as bad as A-Train.
Piece of shit. He wanted to kill Yuriko, or the girl.
Kimiko.
Kimiko. Yeah.
I'm like, who is the fuck is he talking about?
He wanted to kill her. He wanted to kill her, brother.
Yeah.
I mean, Butcher is a monster, but they are so good at telling this story and going, well, yeah, well, I get what he wants to. Look what happened to his wife, and
But then they give us characters like Starlight, who
He should kill.
is good. Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
well, I mean,
Starlight is a good person.
she's a good person.
She's
Yes.
a little bit too good.
Well, yeah.
Well, she was raised that way. She was raised to touch the cross every time she made a decision. That's how she was raised.
I know.
Right. I think yeah. So Starlight, I think Starlight means well, but she's proof that you can have. I mean, as far as a fictional TV show can be proof of something, that you can be a good superhero. You can have superpowers and have intentions of being good.
Right.
It
And yet
seems
she
to be
still
rare.
killed that guy on the side of the road.
Oh yeah, you gotta.
She had to kill him, though.
She made tough decisions.
Yes. It was him or Huey.
Yeah.
You have that kind of power. If you could harness it better, why didn't you just blow his gun up?
Well, but haven't you noticed that, too? Like, this show is a very good example. None of them are any good with their powers.
I don't know.
They're very
Homelander
sloppy.
hit Stormfront right in the cleavage.
Homelander has made lots of mistakes, and he literally is like a Superman level ability. And that plane, he's just like, we're effed.
Yeah,
Let's go.
He's an immature boy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. When she was like, lift the plane up, he was like, I can't do that.
A-Train.
Yeah, you can.
He's like, I'm not even gonna try.
I was thinking, what? Do you mean you can't do that? When he goes, so you going with me or you dying with them? I was like, God damn. I love this show.
It's one of the greatest scenes I ever found.
It is the best thing ever.
It was a great scene. The stress was palpable in Homelander's face because I know he just hated to see those people die.
Yeah, he hated it so much he spoke at their memorial.
Exactly.
He did.
He spoke at their memorial. I
Exactly.
will have to admit, one of my other favorite scenes was Translucent's funeral from the very first episode. When they showed that glass casket of
An empty box.
and then they had like a little indenture and everything in there. And why in every fucking picture it was like nothing there? Like this man was visible sometimes.
Yeah, he could
you
be
had
visible.
no fucking pictures of him. Just all these like suits floating and shit. Like, if you're invisible, what the fuck you need this suit on for? It was the stupidest shit, but it started off right for me.
And Homelander's like, my great friend.
Yes.
Ain't nobody that
No.
dude's friend.
Nobody.
Well, no, Elizabeth Shue. She was his friend.
Yeah. Let's see how that worked out for her. She's so for her it was Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah.
That is probably the first time I remember seeing her. Now I know she was in other things prior to that.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Cocktail.
Ah,
Side boob.
God, you're old. Adventures in Babysitting. Wow.
Did you know, this is off subject, you remember Adventures in Babysitting? Remember when they ran into Thor?
yeah.
Do you know who that actor is?
No.
Vincent D'Onofrio.
No way.
I know that sounds crazy, but it freaking was.
Wow.
I love Vincent D'Onofrio.
And
So
yeah,
do I.
And everything he's ever done, I love
Because
Vincent
he plays the
D'Onofrio.
same person in every
Oh,
but
goddamn
he's super
show.
thin.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
in this
Well, yeah, but you remember too. I mean, he was. I mean, in Gomer or not Gomer, like
Private Pile,
Pile.
call him
Yeah.
Gomer
yeah, but
Pyle.
he was kind of a chub monster in that.
He was a little
They made
chubby.
fun of him the whole time.
Chub monster.
Yeah,
Chub monster.
I wasn't like that at his age. I'll call myself a chub monster too.
Chub monster.
I'm even.
Can we let's call a spade a spade? Vincent
go across
D'Onofrio's best acting ever.
The Cell.
Men in Black.
I don't remember if was he in that?
Yeah, he played. He's Edgar, the alien in the suit.
Oh, was he?
Yeah,
That was him?
yeah, Edgar.
Oh, he is a good actor.
I loved him as Kingpin.
Oh, he's great as
Kingpin was
Kingpin.
He was
That's
great as
fantastic.
Kingpin.
Again,
I
a
did love him
monster.
as Kingpin. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a monster. He plays monsters very well.
Right.
So, where do you think The Boys is going from here? Because I will say that how it ends is kind of like puts everything like right back to how it began. Where do you think it goes?
Hold on.
Okay.
My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me podcast just posted. I think they forget about Homelander creating soup terrorists, killing Stillwell and her baby, murdering the mayor, raping Butcher's wife, and killing every criminal he sees.
So, okay.
That's
okay.
a good point, producer Cody.
Okay, let's go back
Yeah,
for a
but
second.
are we seeing both sides of those stories? There's always another side of the story, and I don't know if we're,
They're maybe not showing that side.
What is the justification for him raping Butcher's wife?
Okay,
I don't know.
Let's stop right there. Let's stop right
Maybe.
there. So,
Did you see how she was dressed that night? I don't know. I'm kidding. There, I should.
So
I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that.
I had a twinge of guilt.
earlier,
I might have crossed the line.
earlier I say burning a hole in a leg and fucking it, and you're like, Peter, oh my God, Peter Craig.
Yeah, but
he's saying she deserved rape, and you're like,
I knew you were serious and he was joking.
oh, fuck you, man.
But seriously, did we see that scene
Which scene?
where he raped her? Did they show us
No.
that?
All
They
they show is
in the building.
So how do you know he wasn't Me Too'd?
Okay.
He could have been. We don't know. We didn't see
You're
it.
right, because a lie creates a super baby in her uterus.
Well,
yeah, but
maybe
he's saying
maybe she
Stormfront
was
called
yellow.
Maybe she,
Stormfront
Did you say
called him a
yellow?
god. He wasn't
Don't
actually
do
a
it. You
god.
mess up
say yellow?
everything. You mess
Oh,
up
okay.
everything. So
He already messing up everything. Shit.
Vernetta's trying to cut his cord.
What if what if she was down with it
What if
that
it was
night?
mutual?
Then the next
What if it
day,
was mutual?
then the next day she was like, "That was a bad decision," and
I don't want my husband to be mad at me.
Yeah, he's gonna find out, and she's like, "Yeah, well, we don't know the whole story."
So let me tell you one little interesting facet from the book.
I can't say that I wouldn't like being gay because I've never done it.
In the first,
I have a history with trying to find out all the information.
In the first trade, when Butcher tells Huey why he hates soups, the story in the comic, that at least in the first trade that Butcher tells, is that Homelander rapes her. One day, he wakes up and she's lying in bed with her stomach tore open. The baby crawled out of her, and then Butcher killed the baby with a nightstand.
That seems weird because if the baby had
Really,
the
what
strength,
seems weird about that, Steven?
I'm about to tell
break
you.
that down for us.
If the baby's strong enough to rip itself out of its own mother, a nightstand could kill it. It
it
should
was
have
a
been
baby.
that ripped out of its mother's womb.
Well, that's just skin.
It doesn't even have fingernails at that. Was
Laser eyes. Laser eyes.
It was a full-grown baby. That's the whole point.
so he knew she was pregnant.
No, it grew very fast because it was a super baby, Steven.
Oh wow! See, I'm getting on the other side of the story. I'm getting more information. I'm trying to form better opinion.
They gave you enough information in the show for you to go, Homelander's a rapist piece of shit.
He has made my eyes roll to the back of my head more than my last orgasm.
I will say this: Homelander.
Tell her you're welcome, Steve.
Homelander being a rapist piece of shit at that point in the story is definitely a possibility.
Monster. Such a monster.
It's possible. I'm yielding.
Okay, where's it going?
Conceding.
Where's it going?
Where's what going?
Where is next season going?
Okay, so the last episode, all of a sudden it shows like Mother's Milk, that's the black guy, going back to his family.
Which one? The one that could run fast?
No, the other one, the really big one. Then they show like
That never wore a t-shirt.
the little boy going off with them, which I'm assuming is like foreshadowing for the spinoff. Then everything just seems so happy, like what the fuck is this all ending? And then they show this bitch blowing people's head up, and I'm just like, she seems so scared in the courtroom, like, oh my God, what's going on, and blah blah blah.
She blew her own assistant's head up.
Yeah. Yes. So
Come on, haven't you ever wanted to blow up your friend's head though?
you have no fucking clue.
Okay, seriously?
What was that shit? Was it Boys in the Hall? Like, I am crushing your skull.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Yes.
I would have killed Steven 3 times this episode.
So to see that just shows that they're all going to come back together. How and why, I don't think they gave enough foreshadowing for the how and why. But you do see that things are going to go back to chaos like it was. You kind of think that Queen Maeve and Starlight will have more of a lead role.
Oh, I hope
From
they
the
do more
way-
than have a lead role. You know what I'm saying?
From the way that, everything went at Vault and stuff. But that Homeland is going to end up being in the forefront again. Some type of way. He's going to end up being in the front of everything. And maybe it's that girl that got out of that asylum, that left in that car and don't know where she went.
Yeah.
Maybe she pops up. What?
Praise White Jesus 13 just said, could somebody please move the beautiful Vanetta away from Steven Weinstein?
That's horrible. I'm offended that somebody that's.
I just love that they combined the fact that you're whiny and you're not whiny. I'm just kidding.
I don't see the connection.
That's a good one.
That's bad. That's
You
horrible.
know it's not Weinstein because
no.
he's whiny, right?
No, I
I
understand.
think
I like the wine though. That's fun
Okay.
too.
I think the Weinstein story, we have enough evidence to see, what was really going on there, and that guy wasn't so good.
Yeah. But he wants out of jail because he said
Wasn't-
he'll end up dying in there.
So
Bitch, that's what you're supposed to do. Sorry, fucker.
That's why they don't let you out.
Right?
That's the point.
Yeah, we hope you do, you bastard.
I will tell you this. I hope it follows the book. I hope the end of this is just like the book, and anybody who's read the book is probably either.
You think you better than us because you read the book?
No, no,
Travis,
not-
you keep throwing that shit out there.
not by any means, but I think you're gonna have two kinds of people. Half the audience is gonna say, "Please God, don't let it end like the book." The other half are gonna say, "It better end like the book."
It has to.
Yeah, and so it's this really weird thing, and we'll see what happens. But so we don't know where it's gonna go next. But how many seasons could you see a show like this actually running?
My fear is that they're gonna Walking Dead this, and it's gonna go too long. I'm thinking. Honestly, you've got 3 max.
3 more or 3 total?
Three more seasons max that you could pull off.
I was gonna say more like I think it'd be good for like a total of 4 seasons. Like
Right,
2
and
more
that's what I'm
seasons.
saying. Yeah, 2 more seasons would be good. Like I said, 3 absolute max.
And if they do, was it on the page that they posted that they're talking about doing that spinoff with the school and stuff and the kids?
I have not seen that, but it would surprise
I
me.
thought it was on the page, so that's why I figured the little boy was going. That was like a preface to something like that or whatever. But if they, like you said, do like 1 or 2 more seasons and then ease off into that, and maybe sometimes somebody come to visit the school or something, then fine.
Right.
But I can't see it's gonna be just like beating a dead horse after a while. It's like, all right, come on, you've done enough. Eventually Homelander has to be exposed for the person that he is, which he kind of was, and they still smoothed it over when he killed that guy.
Yeah.
And by mistake.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Shot through the guy and
Yeah.
killed the other guy.
Yeah.
But again, not having control or understanding his powers. That's what we've seen, quite a bit of.
Plus, he don't care enough,
Right.
I mean-
He just throws caution to the wind.
No, he doesn't care about the casualties
I think
of
he
his
cares-
action. He cares about the reaction from people.
I think he
That's
cares
a-
too much. When he sees something bad, he's like, I gotta stop this now.
I gotta get
And
involved.
he cares so much that he sometimes innocent people get hurt because he's just trying to do too good of a job.
We've got more than one person that wants to talk about love sausage.
Oh yeah.
So we see.
Was that his dick?
Yes. So we see this, and we're like, and Amanda goes, "Wow, holy shit!" She notices the dick. Then that
Who didn't?
the tentacle scene happens, and then all of a sudden she goes, "It's his dick!" Like it clicked. Like it
Yeah.
was, "Oh my god, it's his penis!" It
Yeah.
was so good. Like it made the moment so much better because she was like, "Oh, that's girl. Oh my god!"
Yeah. That's why I said I love when Mother's Milk was like, was that his dick?
Yeah, it was on
And
his-
Frenchie
it was
was
on
like,
his-
you need to loosen up.
It was on his face.
Yes. Like y'all haven't had a dick across y'all face. I've been to your house, Travis.
So the crazy thing there is Love Sausage, he didn't even get named in this.
Right.
In the book, he's the boy's friend.
Oh, so he has a role in the book.
He
Yeah.
has a
Oh,
large
okay.
role.
Yeah. It's so large he has to roll it up. So yeah.
It wasn't rolled up in this, though.
No.
No.
And this thing works. It can expand and then contract. Right?
That's the way they're supposed to work.
As soon as we
They
talk
get
about
bigger,
dicks, he wants to get
Then
scientific.
then they get smaller.
What do you guys
It's
think
called
it
an-
I think
tasted
it's.
like?
I think. Yeah. I think.
You think it's tasty?
I think this happens to a greater extent with him.
When he's excited.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I was kind of bummed me out, but I also, what that told me is the comic was very big on, we're going to go deal with Tech Night now. And they've referenced Tech Night in the show. They said, Homelander, aren't you supposed to be at Tech Night's movie premiere? And Tech Night was kind of like a combination of Iron Man and Batman. And that was a character. And they had a run of comics where they dealt with him. What I'm seeing is they're throwing these little pieces in, but they're not going down all those roads.
Right.
And what that means to me is this show isn't going to be as long as... I agree that 5 seasons probably is what it should be max, but I don't want it to end. I love it.
I would rather it leave me wanting more than to drag on too long.
Yeah.
And then you're pissed.
Right, and like I said, and I know I beat the dead horse, and I always go back to The Walking Dead, but like you said, it's just the same thing over and over again. Hey, we move to a new settlement, we realize that the other humans are worse than the zombies. We have to leave. We move to a new, and repeat and repeat and repeat. And there's, like I said, there's only so much you can do because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, in my opinion, Homelander has to die.
I thought
regardless
the
of
little
what
boy was gonna
happens in
kill
the
him.
book, whether he lives or dies in the book, that doesn't matter. What they've done in this show, this show cannot end with him alive. That's just my personal opinion.
I thought that him and his son was going to end up in a fight at some point, but it ended up being Stormfront. But I thought it was going to be a duel between those two, and he was going to end up hurting Homelander and finding out exactly how strong his abilities were. That's why I thought it was going to go.
Here's
Is
something
anybody seeing Stormfront? It's going to be Darth Vader. Am I right?
yeah, that was going to bring that up. That's definitely an Anakin Skywalker scene,
Right.
With
Because
her
obviously
laying there.
she's not dead.
No,
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know about
Well,
that.
he said it had a secure place.
You know, she's laying there and talking. She's all burned up. And I'm, okay, well, you didn't actually see her die. She was still talking.
I could have swore that Homelander was going to finish her.
I thought he was gonna step on her head.
Right.
You know, just to put her out of her misery because he's got kind-hearted. He can't handle seeing someone in pain. But here's a question I want to just get opinions on. When him and Stormfront, when Homelander and Stormfront are having their foreplay episode, he's hitting her with the lasers, his lasers. Is he holding back?
I don't
Or
think he was.
is the kid stronger than Homelander?
I think the kid's stronger than Homelander.
I never thought
I
about
thought that
that.
when-
Why didn't the kid just burn her a little bit? Like,
I didn't even think about that.
You know, I hate Steven. I hate Steven that he does that. And I go, God damn it, I love Steven.
But I've said that since, like I said, when Homelander yeet that little boy off the roof. Then when the boy gets up and he pushes Homelander at one point and Homelander falls.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me that he caught him off balance because I can't imagine
He's
that.
friggin' Homelander.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So at that point, and then when his eyes lit up, but he didn't do anything, I'm like, I think I would bet anything that he can take his dad. That's what I just said right before
Yeah.
that. I thought that him and Homelander was going to end up in this big battle.
Yeah.
But see, now that changes my outlook on a conversation from earlier in the episode tonight of, okay, does Homelander know this and that's why he's trying to develop a relationship because he realizes that there's only one person that can take him out and it's his own son.
I think
and he'd rather have him close to him.
I think the thing with
I
his son
hate the
is
way
that
you nod your head. You're such a just condescending dick. You offer nothing to this show. Cody, I need a fucking replacement for this piece of shit.
I think the whole
Renata, I'm
thing with his
sorry
it's
about
okay. The whole thing with his son is you figure being in the way he grew up in that whole environment or whatever lab and that attachment he had to what was that bitch name in the first one that he killed that he was always drinking a breast milk.
Stillwell.
Still okay.
Yeah,
that
Stillwell.
attachment because he wants that motherly feeling. He has that he longs for like that mom thing, and then he wants that son thing too because he wants
all the guy wants
like Steve said.
wants
that
the family.
that family thing.
Yeah.
So he wants that family dynamic.
He's a family man.
And Stormfront mothered him.
My
Yes.
God,
You know what I mean? There was
She was
moments
a
where
sick
I will punch
bitch.
you in the fucking beard.
Yes.
Right square in the goddamn beard.
Cody's put Homelander's face over mine.
You are hired.
Oh.
Okay.
I think he just felt like he felt orphaned, and that was like that whole family thing. It was like, I'm gonna not have him being raised like I was, but he didn't want him raised by her, that goody thing. He wanted him to be a sick, twisted son of a bitch like he was.
Oh yeah.
Wanted him to be the same.
Yeah.
Praise White Jesus says, but that 6th season got to be an all-out action-packed massacre every episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lose a character every episode.
Black Noir just posted 4 periods. So, apparently Black Noir is upset he ain't got much love this episode. Eric Bertram says Jeffrey Dean Morgan is Tech Knight. And then a dark bulb said big improvement, Travis, because your face was covered. So,
Okay, so a couple of scenes that I just think just were very disturbing, I'll admit, but pretty cool. But when Homelander is having his kind of daydream and he roasts the people in the crowd.
I wanted that to be real so bad. Me too. So bad.
I was watching it.
Amanda goes, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm just, oh, please don't let this be a dream. I want this to be real so bad. Because I'm like, how is that crazy bitch running Vought going to explain this?
The one that's pulling her hair out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Twisting her hair out?
Oh, that's a fun little, I hate her, but it's just fun watching her, like, just freak out.
And she plays that character
Oh, she's
spot on.
great.
Now, can you imagine? Hey, by the way, we're promoting you. You have to make these people that can wink and kill you do what you want them to do.
Yeah, what we want them to do.
Yeah,
Not
I
even
mean,
what you
that's-
want, yeah.
And I'm sorry, Giancarlo Esposito. I mean, this guy is just primo villain. And he doesn't do it with superpowers. He doesn't do it with a mask. He just sells you crystal meth and chicken,
Yep.
and he tells you this is how it's going to be.
I think in Hollywood they get scripts like, we need a calm-mannered man that is somehow scary and powerful.
So-
Get Gus. We need Gus. We need him.
Giancarlo!
So what? So with Edgar, I'm trying to figure out like why is he not afraid of him?
What?
Like why wasn't Edgar afraid of Homelander?
Because he's one step ahead of him all the time.
Like
I think, don't get me wrong,
I'm
there's,
sorry, I've got a Steve moment right now. Who the fuck is Edgar?
that's Gus.
Oh, shit, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
The guy we're talking
I
about.
was like, wow, I'm dumb.
I am so sorry. I'm like that is his name.
I think
Yeah,
he,
no,
I
you're
think
right.
he might
Okay.
be devoid of emotion.
Okay, because when him and Homelander had that conversation, and Homelander's like building himself up, and he goes, "You're not even our greatest asset." And then Homelander walks up on him, and he does not fucking flinch.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like him.
And he may just be, so conceited that he feels like that nobody can harm him.
Or
He
so
might just be
logical.
nuts.
Like Spock. You know, Homelander walks up on you, he can kill you anytime he wants. So
Yeah.
what's the point in flinching? You know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. You either play your card and act like you got something on him. That's your only shot, really.
Right.
Because in a millisecond, you could be dead. I don't think Homelander would do that to an innocent person on purpose, but, you know.
Yeah. He is a very good actor, and it's a perfect role for him to be in. Stillwell was good. I really liked that, and she's beautiful and all that. But to have him in that role, oh, man, that's perfect. It is
He's
perfect.
good. I mean, you know, and I just can't wait to see more of him in The Mandalorian here pretty quick. I mean, everything that
Friday.
guy does.
I don't know if did you guys watch Revolution?
No.
No.
It was a short-lived show, one of the greatest premises in the history of television, and I fucking hate you.
It's a horrible premise.
Oh, it was absolutely awesome. You're stupid, and I hate you. Anyways, he was on that, and he was absolutely magnificent on there too. So,
Oh, boy.
Oh.
you know, you're like you're the garbage can of this group. You know, like you've had the same garbage can for a long time, and it works great, and you like it. But one day it breaks, and you got to get a new one. You're not heartbroken. Like you're the garbage can. Just so you know.
My tongue's growing.
I love you
teasing
now.
me.
You're
Stop
super
teasing
useful.
me,
But
Travis.
you know what?
Does that warty? Does that warty tongue do it for you?
That is called rib for her pleasure.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Pete loves it.
Oh God.
Another scene of note I want to bring up. It's my last one, but
I don't believe you.
it was the hardest one. It was a hard one to watch. But when they had that replacement, before Stormfront came in, and there was that guy that Homelander. They said we've replaced
The blind guy.
we've replaced the Deep, and Homelander's like, the way he played that, he's like, oh great, I want to meet him, you know, and he just goes down there and he's all smiles and everything else, and he walks in there and he's so nice to the guy. That's amazing. How did you know it was me? You know, and blah blah blah. And he just smashes that guy's ears. I mean, I was like, holy cow.
What a leader.
Well, I mean, he cares about his team. He's got to have the strongest.
You know what?
You're only as strong as your weakest link. He's that kind of a leader.
It shows me, too, how spoiled the Soups are and happy to have the life they have. They're literally trying to get the Compound V to the point they can give it to anybody.
Yeah.
And they will have powers. So they don't have to give it to babies anymore and wait for them to grow up.
Right.
They can give it to someone they choose.
Right.
And if I'm the Soups, you got to be sitting there going, wait a minute. They're literally trying to replace us.
Right.
That's what they're doing. You know, they don't want to, gosh darn it, look, Homelander's crazy. Look what we got to deal with. They want to just find the perfect soldier.
They want to find Steve Rogers.
Yes, give him the injection. Boom, now we got him. And if you're the Supes, they should be trying to shut that down. But they're so happy living in their tower.
Problem is, they trying to get Steve Rogers and they're coming up with fucking Deadpool.
Right. Yeah.
That's the type of lab they're in. Okay, so one of the sick parts for me to watch was the Soup in the hotel room with that man letting him chop his arm off.
How do I forget all this?
And he goes,
wow,
you can
yeah.
cut my dick off for $1,000. He's like, where's the ATM?
Yeah. Yeah. Gecko.
It just
Is that
this,
his name?
Gecko,
Okay.
yeah.
this show just loves to just show you that disgusting part of the population, you know, because there'd be people that'd be into that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
The real
There's
question
one
is,
of them at the table.
has anybody sat down with Garth Ennis and said, "Are you okay?"
I'm sure a lot of people have. As he counts his money.
Yep, I love it.
Yeah.
I think almost everything he's ever written that I've read has just been amazing.
Yeah.
So, and I think in the writing too that it's very easy. It's easy to go for the shock. I mean, you can get people talking just by shocking them, and this has that, but it's so much more than that, and that's really what. Again, I get strangled by a dick. You know what I mean? I just
Like, who hasn't?
right. I'm
Strangled or choked. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to remember. There was a comment made later when they were down like in the gangbangers' basement. He said something, and then somebody threw a zinger about, what do you know? You had a dick on your face or something, and it was just this really fun moment, like a little throwback to that. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious. But so we talked about Lamplighter a little bit. Anything you guys want to add about him? No.
I was kind of bummed that he's dead.
Yeah, but I loved how it went down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was neat, but I kind of thought maybe he was going to become one of the
boys.
Yeah, one of the boys. Maybe.
Nah, he's a POS.
That guilt. It finally was just too much.
I didn't see it coming until he got right in front of those statues and started talking. I'm like, motherfucker.
When he
I
realized,
was gonna do it in front of my
Like,
statue.
yep, getting ready
once
to do
his
it.
statue was gone, he knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you remember what he said too? You remember what his last line was?
No.
And this is just an example of how messed up these people all are. And he said, "I just wanted to make my dad proud."
Yep.
Because his dad was the one that had him get the powers.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. And I'm like, man, all these people are just monsters.
Right.
Monsters. All right, so we're all excited about next season. As you can
can't
tell,
wait.
we're all giving this a big thumbs up.
Yes, very much
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say too much, but
Bullshit.
I see that, in all honesty, no joking around, maybe Homelander has a few issues.
I'll tell you, my Heidi is terrified every time he's on the screen. She's like, "What is he going to do?" And I'm
And then
like,
there's
"I can't
kids
wait."
around. You're like, oh my god, he's gonna light that kid on fire with his eyes.
I will
I
say,
mean, let's be realistic. Every time there's a kid on the screen, there's something that you and I are afraid of that these guys aren't afraid of because they didn't read the book.
I'll be honest with you. The thing about Homelander that anytime he's on the screen, I'm like, kind of sick shit is he getting ready to do now?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
I'm not like fawning over him. I just think he does some sick shit, and it just like you said, that whole scene in the alley where he's got his hand pressed up against that mugger's face, and the guy's like, "Just call the authorities," and she's rubbing his dick, and he's smashing harder and harder and harder, and even just that, I'm like, he is a sick son of a bitch, but all I do is laugh about it though. But yeah,
Really?
yes.
That I think you got some issues.
Really?
I mean,
You didn't find that kind of amusing, the scene in the alley? You liked it. I loved it. I fucking loved it.
I just thought that was Stormfront's fault. She shouldn't have been. She made him do that. She made him break concentration.
Whose fault was it with Doppelganger though? He called that motherfucker there. When he started twitching and he was like, "You turn back right fucking now," and I was like, "What is going on?" Yeah. Then when he drank that milk that had been in the refrigerator since that woman had died, and I'm like, he's such a creep.
So gross.
He is gross.
Any closing thoughts?
No, I think we got it.
Yeah, it was like I said, it was fun, totally worth the watch, and I would recommend that everybody read the book. But I will say, now that the show's going, wait till the show ends and then grab it.
Yeah, agreed.
I will tell you that I and here's another Walking Dead comparison. I'm not having those same feelings this way, and I think it's for two reasons. One, I think that they're varying enough, and two, I think it's just been long enough. I've forgotten. Amanda's like, "What did that happen in the book?" I have no idea, honey. Yeah. Like I just don't recall.
You haven't read the book. It's probably been 7 years.
Yeah. Five, at least 5.
Yeah. 10 for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
I was just getting ready to ask, which one do you think is better? I know the book usually has a lot more detail than what it is on TV.
I'll let you know.
Well, this is a comic book, you realize.
What the fuck did he just say?
That it's not a real book. It's a comic. But I will tell you, I'll
catch you outside, Steve.
I do still think I prefer the book, but I have to agree with Pete. It's a wait and see kind of thing.
Yeah. Because
so far, the show has captured everything I loved about corporate America and all of the all these things, and kind of tied in a lot of stuff that we're currently dealing with. And I really enjoyed it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Couple of final thoughts. Praise White Jesus 13 says, I mean, let's be real. If all 4 of you at the table got superpowers, at least 3 of you are going to be supervillains. Christopher Kelly jumped on and said, "What's up?"
3.
And he also said, "My favorite host, Vernetta, is back."
Oh yeah,
and that's the best way I can think of to end that show right there.
Without a doubt. Thank you, Vernetta, for joining us.
Yes, always a pleasure.
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you.
We're wrapping up the Boys review episode, season 1, season 2, live on YouTube. It'll be up on iTunes, Podomatic, and Stitcher as well. Huge thanks to producer Cody for everything he did for the studio, for the setup today. He's been begging us to be more involved. He idolizes each and every one of us, which is crazy considering he is slim and good looking. But we're glad to have him. So look forward to more of this in the future. And until next time, for your host, Stephen Bisciotti, the beautiful Vernetta Irby, co-host Travis Bull.